Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we are going to be jumping down into the charts for Bitcoin, see what's been going on most recently and what I would expect to happen next. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you'll be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, links in the description down below. Fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there, so why not go ahead and check it out. If you're looking for a little bit more from the crypto space, whether that's about bear market strategies, project reviews, all the way through to a little bit of active trading, why not go ahead and check out the Patreon services in the link in the description below. Okay guys, let's get into this. Right, so Bitcoin paired up with USDT on the hourly chart. Binance is the data source. So obviously yesterday we finally saw that rug get pulled. I know this actually happened in a slightly different order than I was thinking. Originally I was thinking 36,200, and then up to 40, then down to 34. Instead what we happened here was a move up to 40 K, then down to 36, and we are most likely heading to 34 next. Okay, there was an important reason for that 40k move. That 40k move was specifically to bring down our daily and weekly stochastic RSIs. Okay, and we needed to first move up before you could go back down. Okay, so the order of this was a little bit off because I actually thought, you know, we'd go down to 36, then move up to 40, $40,000, then down to 34. That would give us the maximum amount of room to fall down from 40 to 34, whilst lowering the daily stochastic RSI and the weekly stochastic RSI. Okay, but essentially moving up to 40, it has changed that path a little bit, so it might actually end up dropping down a little bit lower than $34,000, just because we need to correct those stochastic RSIs a little bit more than they have been, but we'll go through that in a moment. Essentially what are we looking at here? Well, we were looking for a slight push higher, but obviously it didn't happen yesterday, so it's a little bit short of the 1-to-1 ratio, but this here is just your corrective ABC pattern up inside a B wave, right? So we have an A wave down here, nice and low, just over here. This is our B wave bounce. Okay, so essentially that's actually come right in there, nice move. Now here we can actually see this is a 5-wave move down. Now this 5-wave move down is going to be key because it's going to tell us what structure we are likely to see next. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll remove some of that noise. We don't need that on here. Okay, so with this being a 5-wave move, we would look at this as a wave 1, a wave 2, this being our wave 3, this being a wave 4, and then we come down into a wave 5. The wave 5 should take us to $34,000, and then we should look for a bounce up, and then we actually come down lower afterwards. Okay, so I reckon the structure is going to look like a 5 waves, 3 waves, 5 waves. So it'll be a 5, 3, 5. Okay, and this kind of corrective pattern should then put us into the low C wave move, ready for the next move up. Okay, so there's going to be some kind of short-term bounce here, in my opinion. And then we'll look for basically a pullback down a little bit low, and we obviously don't know how low that's going to go until we start to see this bounce and how high this bounce goes. Okay, but essentially, you know, this is something that we've been talking about for a while, so hopefully it was no surprise to anyone. You know, we were talking about this for the last few weeks. We've been talking about $36,000 and for $34,000. So a 5-wave structure. Let's go ahead and see where this is likely to pull back to. Okay, I don't think this is actually going to be massive now, specifically because we are in a really good position on our 4 and 8 hourly stochastics, so I think there's plenty of room to kind of you know, start to see a bit more of a recovery, a bit of a bounce to the upside. Okay, so we've got $34,009. Let me just go ahead and change that to $9 just there. Make sure we get that one right. There we go. We'll just get rid of that, and then what we'll do is we'll just mark up this upper range. Again, this actually comes in just down here at 13. Yeah, so 35,313. Okay, so that's the kind of range that we're looking for on this 5th wave. It is possible that there's alternative ways of measuring. This is the most typical, so I'm going to leave it there. But again, we could argue that we could come down lower because there's an alternative way of counting this range down. But ultimately, this is the most common one, so I'm going to leave it there for now, and we'll see how that plays out. Essentially, if I bring that stochastic RSI back up into play, we can see that we're overbought on this hourly chart in this bear flag. Okay, now this actually is the definition of a bear flag. So let me actually get rid of the stochastic for a second here. So when we actually take a look at this, what do we see? Well, a lot of people, they just say, oh, well, here's a pole, and here's the flag, right? That's kind of how a lot of people look at it. Now, there's actually some metrics that you have to watch out for in the background, and essentially this actually has them correctly done, okay? So a bear flag, not only does it have a pole, and not only does it have this kind of ascending, this ascending, I don't want to call it a triangle, but ascending channel, it also has to have volume for the pole and no volume for the flag. And that's exactly what we've got. So this is a bear flag, which means we're likely to pull back down, okay? And we're likely to come back down out of here. Now, when you take a look at it from an Elliott wave theory, we already kind of know that we're heading down into this low range of 34,900 and 35,300. That's going to be the area that we're most likely going to be heading into. So it's also good to know that there's other ways of looking at it outside of Elliott wave theory as a bear flag as well. So for example, if I just go ahead and just grab a parallel channel here, it's not going to be the best one to kind of look at, but you kind of get the idea. We're inside that kind of channel just there, like so. Okay, perfect. So knowing this knows that we are likely to head on down towards 34,900 and 35,300, and then we will probably look for a bounce. This bounce up should be, reasonable. Okay, it might take us out towards the $37,000 to $38,000 range. There's obviously going to be a lot of resistance at about 37,500, so that could be where we end up landing, and I think from there we'll then look for a pullback down. Now that next pullback would be on a 1-to-1 ratio with wherever our fifth wave lands. Okay, so we'd have to take this entire move here as an A wave, this is our B wave, and then another pullback down. This might take us down to 33, might take us down a little bit lower. We don't know just yet. It was all dependent on how low that fifth wave can go, okay, and how high we can bounce to the upside. Okay, get those two things under control, and then we'll know where we're likely to go before this actual correction of the C wave low is all done and dusted. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll remove that. We can see that we've got a bit of a pit stop on this journey. This is actually a little bit north, so we might just overextend this a little bit and just come down into these lower ranges of 34,000. But I think actually, we'll probably find a bounce here, and then we'll pull back down, making this an overextension. The one area that we want to kind of avoid on this entire journey would be basically coming down lower than the 31,900. So yeah, I think there's a couple of probable areas that we might finish this whole corrective move on. If we were to take this 34.9 as our low, and we were to run this all the way up to the top, if we were to think about where we were going to bounce to, and we were going to bounce to about here, it would mean that we're probably going to move down to 32.5, but it's speculation at this point. So yeah, just kind of going to keep that in our back of our minds, guys, that we are heading down. I think the correction is going to be lower than $34,000 at the moment. But everything will bounce. We can't go down in straight lines. So I'm expecting a bounce somewhere between 34.9 and 35.3, up towards maybe 37.5. I don't expect it to go higher than that. I could be wrong again, of course, but considering this was an area of support, this is now going to be an area of resistance. So $37,500 is going to be a key area that I don't think we're going to be able to break through. So just keep an eye on that. And then I do expect us to pull back down. I do expect us to go down lower than these $34,000 targets, maybe downwards the $32,000 overall, which does mean that we are likely to set a lower low than the one that was over here, but we should hopefully stay above this one if we can. But again, nothing is set in stone, so just keep an eye on that. Ultimately, when we zoom on out, what can we see? Well, this is the end of a corrective pattern. We are looking to kind of finish this one off before we actually get a decent reversal and back to the upside. Essentially here, we haven't seen anything overly concerning in regards to the fact that this is all corrective patterns. These are not trend-based patterns. This is a corrective pattern that we've been talking about for quite some time, since we were all the way up at $48,000, in the same way that we were talking about moving up to $48,000 when we were coming down towards this low range of $34,000 before. Okay, so nothing moves up in straight lines, as you can see, and for the most part, this is kind of coming to its end, and then we should start to think about what happens next, whether we start to see an impulsive structure or just a corrective structure. Essentially, if we were to zoom out onto a larger time frame, what else would we see? Let me just pull this up into our daily and bring this over here. We could actually argue that this is a much bigger play overall, okay, in the way that we maybe have this as a giant A wave, this is a giant B wave, and then another C wave to come up higher. Okay, so essentially, I think we're at some interesting kind of pivotal points for Bitcoin here, but I'm not concerned. This is something that we've been talking about for a while. I'm not panic selling. Instead, this is the time to be thinking about our positions and what we want to do with them. Do we want to extend them and all that kind of good stuff? Now, as I was saying at the beginning of this video, we need to see that daily stochastic RSI get corrected. It hasn't really moved just yet, and this is because essentially it hasn't had enough time passed for to lower the stochastic RSI. So we want to be keeping a very close eye on this, but essentially I'm not thinking that we are likely to to see this pull back down until we reach those lower areas. We're looking to bring this down into the oversold area, essentially. The same thing with the weekly, right? We're actually lowering this down quite nicely, but we're not oversold yet. So again, we are thinking more corrective patterns are likely to occur here, and we are looking to pull this back down to a reasonable position. Obviously, we're already oversold on our monthly chart, so that's not a problem. And essentially, I mean, if we were to come up into our weekly, maybe take a look at it from a Bitstamp perspective, and maybe we'll throw on those moving averages. Is there anything, really that we should take it from a monthly perspective? People are talking about heading down towards these lower ranges. Very possible, but, I don't think probable. It's still going to be an interesting one to kind of see what's going on here. I expect around the 34, maybe even low as $32,000 to be a big reversal point for BTC based on Elliott wave theory, but also based on the psychology of what's going on in the background, specifically when it comes to the amount of Bitcoin leaving those exchanges, what the whales are doing in terms of accumulation and all of that kind of really good stuff. So for anyone who wants to know a little bit more about that, join us in Discord. We do a lot more discussions and things around what's going on with Glassnode data, what's going on in the background of BTC, why these particular patterns are quite key, and what I would expect to happen next. We do a lot more TA down there and a lot of various different altcoins as well, so why not check out the Discord, link in the description down below. Guys, I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found this useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.